edit out all these ungainly bits. So anyway, yes, Harriet.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. That was really lovely. Harriet has now pooped.
She's absolutely exhausted.
I know, she's worked very hard. So anyway, was there anything that you found particularly interesting or surprising or that gave you a bit of insight doing that?
I think it's just so fascinating it's just understanding you're a baby to a different level, isn't it? So it was things that I had probably noticed, but I hadn't kind of pinpointed. So the fact that, she does chat away and she is really sociable, more than wanting to look at something practical or a toy. Because when I put the toy in front of her, she's not at all interested, but if you put the face in front of her, she'll chat away.
Right, okay.
But then at the same time, you observed how her neck's not so strong, so if I'm communicating with her, I'm going to have to
be
close, and that's obviously something she, I don't know, maybe she needs that connection. That's her thing. She's sociable. And I hadn't kind of put my finger on that, but she's going to need it quite close because of her neck. So I wouldn't have.
And actually, I suddenly thought, I wonder if there's something about having a big sister as well, who probably is going to get
in
quite
her face
full
all
in
the
her
time.
face. So actually, she will have quite a lot of that. She will have that sort of close chat from her big sister. Yeah, definitely.
And I think also talking about her feeding cues and it just really makes you think about them more, and really, because babies can't speak, I think sometimes we don't give them enough credit for the fact that they're communicating everything, so it really makes me think about that. And then also you were talking about the different ways they're comforted. I mean, definitely she went straight in here and she fell asleep, so this is definitely probably for most babies.
Place.
But I think I will start trying to really work out what the things that comfort her are. So is it putting her hands to her her chest, or holding her feet, or holding her up and down, or
the cat's just fallen in the bag.
Yes. And also I can imagine that would be good even from the point of view of someone else looking after her. Do you know, just learning her language so I could pass that on to someone.
Yeah, because actually you possibly do that without even realising you're doing it, but actually for them, that would be quite useful to them. Actually, she quite likes it when you sort of bring her in close, that might be reassuring.
And also, I mean, because it just makes me realise how different she is to her sister, and how different her sister would have been at this age, and that they really do have their own little language. So I think by discussing it with you and what you've shown me, I understand that language more. But it also, I think, will just, watching you observe her, I think will also make me observe her. Do you know more?
I know, because it's sometimes really difficult to just take that time and sort of look at what I'm looking at, or the rest of it. And I think there was something about your question about when she's sort of kicking her legs and sort of starting to get a bit more shouty, what does that mean? And actually, as we were watching it, you could see her sort of eyebrows sort of starting to furrow a bit more, and her mouth was changing shape and being a bit harsh. The noise was a bit harsher, and that she was making, and it was like it was moving from a sort of engaged, interested noise into a sort of a bit more of a distress, fuss.
But it was
like really subtle.
Which is what I said to you at the beginning. So she loves sitting down. There's a glass cabinet, and she loves chatting away to that. But then she chats, and I wasn't sure whether or not it was the chatting turning into stress. And so I suppose now I know it is stress. So when I start hearing that, I'm going to go in and support her a little bit more. And also, if I do go in, I probably have to get in close enough for her to see me. Rather than just, because she's not going to move her head.
Or you might find out she likes your voice, or something like that. And I think the other thing that I was sort of thinking just then was, has gone straight out of my head. I was thinking though that actually just sort of observing her and watching her, actually there's going to be more, it gives a sort of framework, or it gives an idea of what sort of things to look for. And actually I think it was more the shape of her face, it was more that, and the noise that was sort of, and the fact that you noticed that her arms were getting more, and her body was getting more sort of jerky and a bit more disjointed. And so and I suppose the more you get to know her, the more you'll realise sort of at what point that has gone into
too far,
sort of a bit too far, a bit too overstimulated, a bit too much.
But she was enjoying it.
Yeah, she was.
That's why it happened.
So it is. It's sort of. So the more you get to know her, the more you'll be able to see what she looks like when she's starting to transition into a not such a good place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was sort of thinking, it's not that it was sort of I mean, because it did look so seamless, but there were tiny little things that started to change, and the more you watch her, the more you'll notice.
And I suppose some of them don't show stress in that way.
No.
Yeah, which is amazing, isn't it?
Some babies actually won't even cry. And
yeah,
and that can be really difficult.
What else they do that's different.
Definitely. And that can be really difficult, because that means that actually, if you're in another room from them, how are you going to notice if they're in distress? So, so crying is really, really useful, because it does give you that sort of alert very quickly. Yeah. But yeah, no, some babies will just sort of fart a lot. Some babies will sort of, they will sick up an awful lot. Some babies, as you say, will be very, very jerky and very disjointed. Yeah, exactly. Some babies will change colour. But yeah, your baby will do whatever it is. But knowing what that is useful, really useful. So, yes.
I think it also makes you realise how well, in a way, you do know your baby. And you're almost facilitating, like, helping me find the answers to go, this is what these things mean. Yeah. And it just gives you the confidence for me to be like, oh yeah, she's getting a bit fussy now, that, you know, rather than that, oh, should I pick her up, should I not, maybe she is, you know, it's like, no, that means she's a bit fussy, so I'm going to pick her up, and, you know,
definitely.
She likes a wee chat, and
I think that could be really helpful, especially when you're a first time mum or whatever, and you're doing something and you're not quite comfortable with it. For example, I know that sort of some babies enjoy being passed around, some babies don't, or some babies enjoy it for a small amount of time or whatever. Yes. And if as a mum you're looking at your baby and thinking, I'm feeling really uncomfortable about this, and actually the reason you're feeling uncomfortable is because you can see that your baby's distressed. If you can say, actually, I've noticed that she's sort of like, she's spitting up a bit, she's hiccuping, she's sneezing, she's doing this.
She's not enjoying that.
She's letting me know that actually she's had enough.
And I suppose if you're not even a first time mum, but if you're a mother around other babies, maybe their babies are being passed around or whatever, if your confidence is low, you could think, oh well, I'll do that too.
I need to do that,
And so I think it just gives you the confidence to know what your baby needs. Yeah. Exactly. As opposed to read hundreds of different books that will tell you hundreds of different things that your baby needs. It's actually, this just helps you really understand what your baby needs.
And as
there's
you
so
said,
much conflicting advice.
Yeah, exactly, because there are experts out there, absolutely, but you are the expert on your baby. Totally. And as you said, so doing this, it doesn't give you any great surprises, but it does give you a sort of framework to put what you already know in, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So
it's great.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. So I look forward to kind of observing her more, and you know, fantastic. Gives me the confidence just to think about it more. Yeah. And keep learning her language. So.
And also being able to help other people know her language too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. For that first night out at one point.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Go for it. Definitely. Thank you.